Okay guys, just going to preview the Launceston meeting on Sunday night. 11 races, so we'll jump straight into it. The first over the mile for the C1s. Pretty even lots, obviously barriers vitally important here, as always are in mile races. So look at the speed map. You imagine on the gate speed it showed last week, Prince of Dawn will find the front, which obviously gives it a great chance of winning. Punchinello has been going well. Best barrier he's drawn in ages, so expect a good showing there. Postal Express obviously maps to get a great run. Safari Rose was super first up in Tassie. Terrible draw, but if the gaps appear, she can obviously win. And Oliver's Mate gets back into C1 grade here, and he's never ever far away. You'd think that's probably it of the winning chances from the draws. Probably the others. Ryder Coyote's the question mark. Been down on best form, but first up for about 6 or 7 weeks. So if he recaptures his old form, he'd be right in the mix. So yeah, but Prince of Dawn on top. But yeah, I'm just not sure you'd want to be taking the likely price. So maybe a bit of value, 8 or 9. But the second also over the mile. For the mares, All My Savings and Jellyby GG was actually a good spectacle last time. Jellyby GG definitely won the race on its merits. Both had every hope, but the big difference this time is it's over the mile. Jellyby GG settled very close to All My Savings last time. It's probably going to settle 15 metres off it this time, and All My Savings excels over sprint trips, so she's clearly the one to beat. But whether you want to take short odds about a horse who got beaten by another one in the race on a merits last time's another matter. The rest, Arc Breeze, going okay. Crowd of Stardust, last couple been down in the best form, but maps to get a great run. So yeah, that's pretty thin race. Mersey Delight, sort of tough draw, but goes okay. And On Page, first up in the state, obviously worth watching. The third, the 2200 stand. I think there's probably 2 major winning chances here in Kavita Valise. She generally begins okay. She beat Bolton Mac on its merits last time, who franked the form with an effortless win in Hobart, so you think she's going to be mighty competitive. And Pushkin at his past couple have just been super in similar races, so makes his own luck. So you've got both spectrums covered, one off the front and one will be making its own luck, and that's generally the scenario that wins these type of races. Yeah, it's obviously in these races, manners are vitally important, and like the state of play, if it pings to the lead, definitely comes into the mix. Lake Air was super at Launceston here a couple of weeks ago and was terrible in Hobart, so it depends which one turns up. Lord Jones, gets the right runs, always a chance. Mick Will Rev, big ask off 40 over this trip, but Shakti Bromax probably going to be huge odds, and easiest race he's struck in a while. So I do think Kavita Valise or Push going to win. Just comes down to prices. The fourth, this is a super, very tough race actually. The marathon trip probably brings it, narrows the winning chances down. If it was over 2200, you could mount a case for ones off the front. But you'd think over this trip that the class will come to the fore, and in that area we've got Hugo Play, Roger Ramjet and Devendra. Roger Ramjet was, look, sectionals last time are amazing. Go through his form, he has struggled over this type of journey in the past, so might be the only thing, can he finish off in those sectionals over this trip. Obviously Hugo Play had 0 luck last time. Gets 30 metre start on Devendra. So happy to just lean Hugo Play's way over Devendra and Roger Ramjet. Always going to be dangerous. And probably Bay Ridge Bill if we're looking for fourth. A fifth, barrier draw makes this a tough race to get involved in. Spitfire Rose, she makes her own luck. She's obviously going to be right in the finish, but probably going to be served up favourite. Going to have to work all the way from the draw, and she's going to be probably a bit vulnerable late. Going to have like, spot 8 leads. Another swinger can also get it very quickly. So, and going well. Chirac's good opportunist. Mellowlin's one who's probably going a lot better than figure form suggests. And obviously you've got Dapadana, first up from an injury layoff. And if you just think of him, he was right up there with Pachacuti and Devendra in the best of his age prior to injury curtailing him. So it's a huge watch. But I just think from a betting perspective, I think if you back Spitfire Rose a win and just have a saver on Mellowlin at the odds might be the way to go there. The mile race looks to be a ton of speed here. You've got Marty Surreal, Devil of Time, Busted, Kwiatkowski. Imagine they'd all be going forwards. Bones Jones obviously maps to get a good run. God's Sakes sort of flying. Has had things fall into place a little bit, but definitely going well enough. And Timely Sovereign's one who's been smashing the clock of late, drawing 6 out on the second row over a mile. He's usually a death sentence, but might just be run to suit, and you're probably going to get the right type of price to have a few coins on him. So I think anything over sort of $6.50 is worthy of a bet. So so something's Timely Sovereign in a race that you can't get overly confident about. The 7th, I think the start's going to be vitally important here. I think there's probably 2 major winning hopes. Ken 2 Stars, he's never shown an abundance of gate speed in the past. But Mark Yole jumps on this week, and one of his strengths of a driver is getting them out of the gate. So if he managed to hold up, he's clearly the one to beat, even if he gets crossed, if he gets clear running. He's the best performed horse in the race. Excuse me. But Svensson did show very good gate speed last time. Draws the same gate, happened to get over. And take no into running down. Of the rest, you've got Jemima's Joy hit the line well, been super consistent since arriving in the state. It's got MJ's Black Chip, plenty of merit in its last win, but from the draw it's going to have to go back. And Courageous Katie's the other one. Last run was too bad to be true, so if we just ignore that completely, on her previous 2 runs she'd be right in the mix. So but do think either Ken 2 Stars or Svensson will be winning. Comes down to what price you get, but I do think Svensson's probably the one that's worthy of a bet at what you'd imagine they'd go up. The 2-year-old, must say I really like the trial of Now Hear This when I saw it. The only drawback is that the form from the trial's hardly been enhanced. It looks like a good type, well bred, late in the season, so a lot of these are only going to try and get their 2-year-old win. So, and you'd imagine he's going to be well primed with only a couple of weeks left in the season to get a 2-year-old win himself. So, being the new kid on the block might actually be a positive. Ideal Fella's the question mark. Still happy to back Now Hear This. Pessimistic, obviously been competitive in these races all year. And of the rest, Creator Demon Arc Fury going a bit better, and Keep Playing's one who's been making mistakes, but certainly he's got to turn a foot. So if he does everything right, expect an improved effort there. But I said I did like what I saw from Now Hear This. If the race was 2 weeks ago, I would have almost had a max bet on it, but I'm just a bit concerned about the format of the trial now. But anyway, still very happy to have it on top. The 9th, Sign of a Time was very brave last time in a fence-dominated race. Like if we have a look at the placings, like he's 3 deep to the death in 159.9, and you got Svensson led. First Elva sat 3 back the fence. Triple H fella 4 back the fence. Holly Halo 5 back the fence. And he was the only running line horse to finish anywhere near them and did more work than any of them. So I think the second row draw might actually be a blessing in disguise. Obviously, Shadow Control's one who led and over-raced on numerous occasions. Actually, I was just looking there before. He's had, this is his 7th start in Tassie. And if we look here, this is the 5th time he's drawn the pole. So, yeah, but you probably need to settle mid-race to finish off. And based on that speed map, and also means Creator Crew's obviously going to get a dream run. But happy to be on Sign of a Time. I think he's too tough. Yep, so that's... I think that probably wraps the race up. So the 10th, pretty tricky affair. This, I do think, if you look at the speed map, I think Vapor Glen will probably lead. Diddley Bow probably works over with it. Like the run of Out to Strike, first up in the state. And you can drive Darby McGuigan, so I wouldn't be too concerned if nobody's heard of him. He does go, I think he's driven nearly 50 winners in Victoria this year. So, and see Sky goes okay as well. And obviously a couple guesstimate barriers, sort of horror, but does go well over this trip. Mid-air Meltdown's obviously a watch, so tough race. Forced to pick a couple. I'd probably back Diddley Bow and Out to Strike. And in the claimer, these stand-start claimers, never much between them. Jukebox Music, courtesy of its manners, it's goes a lot better in these stand-start claimers than the mobiles as a rule. So expect him to be mighty competitive. Obviously, I'm Young Tommy's the interesting one. First up in Tassie, coming off some good Victorian form. Watch his chance. You know, I think he's won double-figure claiming races this year, so speaks for itself. And on Barney Rubble, I don't think there's too much doubt he should have won last time. So, and I don't, and the 10-metre handicap might actually be a blessing in disguise for him. So, forced to pick one. I'm probably going to, I reckon I might actually back Barney. Happy to be on. I said, like, the draw's not the worst thing in the world. So, yeah, so anyway, not a night for specials. Like, early in the card, I'm just not keen on the way the races map at all. So, I said, I do think all my savings are win, but I think it's going to be ridiculous odds. Think of it or Push can win the stand, but not going to be enough value in both of them to Dutch bet them. Similar, just, you know, like ego play, but it's just, you're going to have some very dangerous horses close to him. Spitfire Rose. You're happy to sort of, probably in this race, back Spitfire Rose and save on just a few coins on Mellow Lynn at double figures. And it's something on Timely Sovereign. So, actually, I'll just actually mark out the ones that we might sort of pick out to back. So, yeah, nothing in the first, nothing in the second. If you can back both of 2 and 10 there, nothing in the free-for-all. Something's, you know, like 80% of your investment Spitfire Rose, 20% on Mellow Lynn. Timely Sovereign, sort of mid-sized bet at a bit of value. If the race gets run to suit, he can most certainly win. If it doesn't get run to suit, he probably can't win, but at the likely price, it's probably worth the risk. Sort of smallish bet, Svensson, and probably take a. If you want to take exotics, I'm very confident either 1 or 5 wins the race. Win bet, now hear this. Oops. Sign of a Time. So you can see it's the end of the night that most of it. So I think Diddley Bow and Out to Strike here, but it is a very tough race, so probably not betting perspective. And something on Barney Rubble in the claimer. So yep. So just recapping. So you can see there's none of them are sort of virtually going to make their own luck. So, but happy to sort of throw those out there. So we've got 7 races there. I think if you level bet those two, 80% Spitfire Rose, 20% Mellow Lynn, half of your maximum bet size Timely Sovereign, same on Svensson. If it doesn't lead, it's virtually dead. So you probably bet 80% of your max bet on Now Hear This. Same Sign of a Time and same on Barney Rubble. So no out and out max bet specials. So we might just wrap it up there. Forced to pick out a real bolter on the card. I think probably Shakti Bromac. You know, you might. I had a quick look at 365 odds there earlier, and I think he was $51. I think he's worth a couple of bucks at that. But and also just talking about Bet 365, whoever's doing their odds is doing a lot better job in recent times, which actually sucks for the rest of us because every other bookie tends to follow them. But yeah, no, always quick to give them a backhander for stuffing things up. So in fairness, you have to give them a bit of a rap when they get things right. So anyway, forced to pick one on the card. I probably Sign of a Time. Just he's going to make his own luck, and the form from his last race stood up okay. So anyway, guys, we'll wrap it up there and be back with you with a recap of the meeting. So anyway, let's hope we've got more than we started with. Cheers.